Welcome back to the CryptoWorld channel, everyone. My name is Josh, and right now, both Bitcoin and Ethereum are still chopping around in this sideways price range in the short term, while Bitcoin is running into this important line of support on the larger timeframes, which I'll talk about in just a moment, so definitely stick around. First of all, just giving you a really quick update here on the 4-day Bitcoin chart, and right now the price of Bitcoin is technically still within the much larger multi-month long bullish trend that we've seen since the beginning of the year, and this is simply because the price of Bitcoin is still in a much larger higher low, higher high price structure here on the larger timeframes, which is technically a bullish trend. And on top of that, if you're looking at this super trend indicator right here, this is still currently sitting in the green, indicating a larger bullish trend at play. And the point of invalidation for this super trend indicator would be a confirmed break back below around $25,000 with confirmation, like for example 4-day candle closes or ideally weekly candle closes back below 25k, which would basically confirm a trend reversal according to the super trend indicator, and of course confirm a new lower low. And so considering the fact that we have not seen a confirmed break back below that level, once again, this means that we're still technically within this larger bullish trend that I've been talking about since the beginning of this year. But obviously, more recently, we do technically have a larger bearish divergence playing out at the moment, which is basically resulting in the price of Bitcoin playing out reduced bullish momentum. So essentially, the bullish momentum in this bullish trend is currently fading, at least in the shorter term. And so, as I've been saying for the last couple of weeks, I would not be expecting a lot of bullish momentum just in the short term, and instead we're likely going to see either some neutral price action, so choppy sideways price action, if not some slight bearish price action just in the short term. But anyway, now taking a look at the daily Bitcoin chart, and once again we still have a bearish divergence active here on the daily time frame, as I've been talking about almost every day over the last 1 month or so. And so once again, this simply means that we should not necessarily expect a lot of bullish momentum, at least in the short term, and instead we're likely going to see either some choppy sideways price action, if not a slight pullback in the price of Bitcoin, like what we've seen over the last 1 month or so. And in order to invalidate this bearish divergence on the daily time frame, we would need to see ideally a breakout in the RSI above this descending line of resistance, which as of right now has not yet happened. And now if you're looking at the daily Bitcoin MACD, right now this is showing almost no momentum at all. This is looking extremely flat, which basically means we should not necessarily expect a massive move in the short term to either direction. And instead, right now, the price of Bitcoin basically has no strong direction. So we're looking relatively neutral, at least in the shorter term. And now just staying on the daily Bitcoin chart, taking a look at this massive line of support that starts from the beginning of this year. And obviously, as we can see throughout this year, we have seen multiple times where the price of Bitcoin has come into contact with this exact same line of support. And so far, every time where the price of Bitcoin has hit this line of support, we have seen a bounce from that line of support and another leg to the upside in the larger bullish trend. And right now, as of recording this video, the price of Bitcoin is currently coming into contact with this same line of support, which is currently sitting at around 29,000 approximately. And so if history were to repeat and we were to see another bounce from this line of support from roughly around 29,000, then it's possible that sometime soon, possibly within the next week or so, we could potentially begin the next leg to the upside if we actually confirm a strong bounce again from this support, which as of right now, we're still basically testing this line of support. And so at least in the short term, this is a deciding moment for the price of Bitcoin, because obviously it's possible we could actually see a break below this line of support, below 29,000. And in that case, if we actually do break below that line of support, then obviously that would be a short-term bearish signal. And looking at some other levels of support, if we break below around 29,000 approximately, then the next important support to pay attention to is sitting at around 28 to 28.1k, and below that we have the golden pocket sitting at around 27,000 to 27.2k. But at least in the shorter term here, the price of Bitcoin is basically in a choppy sideways sideways price range in between this support and this resistance. First of all, this support once again is sitting at around 28.9k to 29k approximately, and this line of resistance is sitting at approximately $30,000. So at least for now, while the price of Bitcoin is in between that support and that resistance, we're looking relatively neutral, at least in the short term. And as I said earlier, on the daily time frame, according to the MACD, we are lacking momentum, which once again is pointing towards potentially some more sideways price action. But even though the price of Bitcoin is not doing anything spectacular in the shorter term, obviously you can still make a lot of money in Bitcoin during this type of price action. And if you want to know how to do that, then stick around to the end of this video to find out more. But first, taking a look at this 8-hour Bitcoin chart, and right now we technically still have an active short-term bullish divergence here on the 8-hour time frame, because as of right now we have not yet seen a breakdown in the RSI into lower lows or below this ascending line of support. And so this basically means we're still currently taking a bit of a short-term pause from this short-term bearish trend. But once again, a bullish divergence does not necessarily invalidate a short-term bearish trend, like for example what we saw back here. This bullish divergence back during May resulted in a short-term bullish relief or pause from that short-term bearish trend, but we ultimately ended up resuming the bearish trend later on. And so this is why the price of Bitcoin right now is looking relatively neutral, because we're basically taking a pause from a short-term bearish trend within a much larger bullish trend, which is resulting in the price of Bitcoin basically chopping around sideways in the short term in between this choppy sideways price range. But anyway, now getting into the Ethereum part of this video, this is on the daily ETH to US dollar chart, and over the last one day, nothing has really changed here on the daily time frame. So if you're new to the channel, check out my last video on the channel to find out more about this chart. So getting straight into the 8-hour ETH to US dollar chart, and right now the price of ETH is still chopping around sideways in between this support and this resistance. First of all, this line of support is still sitting at around 1820 to 1830, and this line of resistance is still sitting at around 1870 to 1880. But if we were to see a confirmed break below that support, then in that case, the next important support is the golden pocket sitting in between around 1760 to 1770. But in a more bullish scenario, if we confirm a breakout above around 1880, then in that case, the next important resistance is sitting at around 1930. And now if you're zooming into the 6-hour ETH to US dollar chart, right now the price of ETH also has this descending line of previous resistance now acting as new support, and this line of support is also sitting at around 1830, very close to that 50% retracement level that I just mentioned. And below around 1830 to 1820, we also have this descending line of support right here sitting at approximately 1.8k. And on top of that, like I said, for Bitcoin in the slightly smaller time frames, we also have a short-term bullish divergence playing out here in the price of ETH, which once again is resulting in a bit of a short-term pause from this short-term bearish trend. So overall, in the imminent short term, we're looking relatively neutral, basically chopping around sideways with very low momentum. And now, if you want to know how to make a lot of money in crypto, no matter if the price is going to the upside, to the downside, or simply chopping around sideways with no momentum like right now, then make sure to watch these videos popping up right here on your screen. The video in the top left shows you how to make money if the price is trending bullish or bearish using AI, and the video in the bottom left shows you how you can easily profit from choppy sideways price action. But anyway, that's everything that I have to say for today. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video.